Hello YouTube and welcome back to 7 Days to Die. Here we are in Alpha 11, it's finally come out. We've managed to get ourselves all set up. We've had two major patches since the release of Alpha 11, and I did notice we've got a micro patch run B4. So I did record some video prior to this one, but unfortunately due to a technical issue it wouldn't record. So we've managed to get ourselves moving on a lot more than we were, and this is where we're up to. We're up to day 35. We've managed to get ourselves well established now. This is pretty much where we started. As you can see, this was actually a log hut that we found. There were three of us who started, and we've had some other friends come and join us after that. So it's pretty battered, as you can see, but it did work well. Managed to get some reasonable good spike defences around. These still work very well, especially if you're doing a stronghold protection. The spikes do very well, but the new gore system certainly makes you think of how you do your defensive strategy. We did knock some of these off from the roof, some of the tiles from the roof, just so we could actually shoot down whilst they were climbing, but we were finding that they were able to gore block the way up there quite quickly, so we put the overhang back on, plus keeps spiders out. Do a quick look inside. We don't actually use this base anymore, so anyone who joins the server or who's new for us can actually come and use this now. You see the storage chests, and we did put a second floor in. It did have a bit of a wood floor, but we've managed to knock that out and put concrete. Here we go. So as you can see, quite busy. There's still two sleeping bags here, so one of the people that are joining us in our new base you will see shortly. He hasn't come back on since we did the move to the new base, which only happened on day 32 is when we properly moved into the new base. Phase 1 and Phase 2 is completed on the new base. Currently doing Phase 3. It's quite an impressive base setup we've got. So here's where we did our initial stand. Worked quite well. We did notice though, compared to the new base, we got a lot of activity. As you can see, it's like a war zone. All the divots, and we've actually filled this in quite a lot. We actually started filling it in with stone just to make it a bit easier. So this was the original base landing point that we found and set up from. So we'll have a bimble over to the new base. Let me just shut this up. One of the things that still hasn't seemed to have been fixed is zombies are able to get through your doors. Even though it doesn't look destroyed to us, apparently to them they just can walk straight through it. So what we actually did was put an inner door in, and a way to get around it was if you block that off and then put wood frame, two wood frames here, they still can't get through that door, and that door actually works as an actual door. So if you're struggling to keep zombies out your door, that's one way of doing it. You can see still lots of potatoes growing, so we'll have a bimble over. The new additions and the new enhancements of Alpha 11, definitely nice floating. Great, got myself stuck. That's different. That should have collapsed, but obviously hasn't. The new additions to Alpha 11 really have enhanced the game a lot more than what it were. It's a lot harder. Our current server is set about medium range in difficulty. The zombies do run at night. They are set to feral. Medium spawn, and I believe we've got the zombie spawn ratio at 100 per zone. But that's definitely, it's still proving a hard challenge. As you can see, our new base setup, we did it out of concrete, which took some going. Log spikes, again, we've done the same setup. This section here was phase 1, so we actually completed this before starting this phase 2. These are identical on the outside, just mirror optioned. Again, got the spikes all the way around. The walkway is just so we can actually maintain the spikes. On phase 4 we will actually put a defensive wall all the way around the whole compound, and there will be another row of spikes between the walkway and the actual wall. Torches work a lot better for slowing zombies down. As for light, with the new fog system, they really don't make that much difference for your visual range. You can only see what you can do. As you can see, one of the other players is running around getting ready for the day's crafting. And there they are. So this was phase 1, which was a plantation area, so we can actually grow within a compound. We can still work at night if we need to, and there's very little chance that these are actually going to get destroyed. Eventually, once the wall's around, it should be even more secure. Put the wall. So the way we've done the wall, they're only single strand wall, but we put the overhang, which makes it a lot easier for defensive. You can still shoot, and by using the actual angle pillars, you can see quite nicely, cover most of the art. We've got another person on the other pillar. They can actually shoot this way, so you can cover a good size of the wall. The other aspect that we thought of was zombies don't jump, so they climb but don't jump. So if you're actually working on this compound, they do manage to get through that door, you can at least get over into another compound section. You can see we've started the layout of phase 3, which will be a 1 complete compound section, and that's where we're actually going to build just a bit of a house, just a bit of a gimmick. It won't really be functional, but it just adds a bit of extra to the game, bit of fun, bit of creativity. Here's the main working compound. So within the compound, again, you've got 2 more structures, and the way we've split this down is the structure on the left is the actual heat room, so that's where all the prep, all the forges are running, all the cooking's done on the left hand one. The right hand side is pure storage. Again, for that extra security, if you have to fall into this, get in the storage compound, you can actually get up on the roof as well. So as that last line. So we'll have a look. Now, because there is quite a few of us, there's 3 of us that live in this compound, what we do is once we've finished foraging, we just dump everything in these 2 boxes. So if we need to go out again straight away, we can do. Or with 2 lots of looting, it's just easier just organising from that box rather than individually. So here's our cook room. So we've got all the forges. No, we actually do use all the forges. We have 4 on the left for iron. The next 2, one's for making the lead ingots, and the second one should be for bullet tips. Brass ingots and brass casings. Okay, yep, cement will be in the top one. As you can see, we do use a lot of cement, so it's good to keep going. And of course, glass jars, which is definitely a must with cooking and everything else. We've only just recently found a desert where we could actually get crushed sand from, so that was on day 34. All the cooking's done in here at this side, just so we can isolate this room. If spider zombies do get in, they will always go to where the heat is that we found, so it's a complete separate room if they're going to try and destroy this, not what we're actually storing. So we'll leave this room and into our storage. So there's 2 sleeping bags. Once the house is built, we'll actually move these into the house. So our storage boxes, we tend to do, just to be a lot more organised, is try and organise them by categories: medical box, biofuel, iron and iron scraps, lead bars, brass, fuel. Tungsten wasn't really used in the game much, so we actually would have a box for that in Alpha 10, but because it's not even used, I don't even think you can even find it anymore. There's no point it being there. Construction box, so all we use for construction or building items, we usually dump in here while we're crafting. Our stone box, which at the moment is quite empty after building this building and the actual hot room, and of course wood. Next is all our food. So again, just trying to keep it organised. The box on the left, all the items we use for creating food. The box on the right is the actual cooked food. Oh, vegetable stew. Send that one. Water. We don't drink pure, just clean water now. We have, with the facilities we've got set up, we just carry goldenrod tea. Bottled water for cooking and prep. Empty glasses. Coffee. And spare cabinet. The weapons room. So in here is just pure everything for weaponry. The first safe is for our parts. We're actually starting to find a lot better quality parts. The way the gun system works in Alpha 11's a lot better. If you're just getting a mould and just crafting all day long, it makes you think more on what you loot and your weapon. We do have, as you can see, some flawless statted weaponry. We don't have a huge amounts at the moment. Ammo. It's not as easy in Alpha 11 for ammo as it was in Alpha 10. with the way that they've made a lot of changes to the mining and how mining's done. Lead is a lot harder to come by. Potassium is easy to find. Coal is a lot harder as well. So we've got to be more conservative, or I've found you've got to be a lot more conservative. We are slowly starting to get a good stock. We do have probably equivalent of this ammo in the first base as well, for the new starters, and weapons. So as you can see, we don't have a huge stock of them yet, and they're not all high quality. There are some good, great, and we've got some fine. The SMG fine, and of course the box for the overflow. As you can see, potassium is not that hard to come by in the mines, which is where we got a lot of the materials from. And that is about it for the base. So this was phase 2, so we completed phase 2. That's fully operational. So once that was complete, we actually moved from the original base across to here now, as we're now starting phase 3. Phase 4, what we're planning on doing is, once this compound is laid out, we're actually going to start the defense wall. So the defense wall will be about here, all the way around the compound. Again, concrete. We'll probably make it about the same height. I don't see, this has worked really well now. We've had 3 nights now, 4 nights that I've been in this compound. I stayed before we even moved over, and had no breaches, with quite a lot of zombies hitting. As you can see, had quite a few kills. The only other part that we've been doing for this construction is we have an open pit mine that we've been mining stone from, and it's the same way as we used to actually mine for minerals in Alpha 10. So rather than just dig a tunnel and then dig all the way around, we just dug an open pit style mine all the way down to bedrock, and then expanded it out bigger and bigger and bigger, getting the resources that we needed. Zombie saying good morning to us. So pit should be, gone past it. Ah, there it is. So here's our open pit mine. As you can see, we've dug a lot of stone out of here, and we're slowly getting more out. We don't have a auger that we did have in Alpha 10. The augers now, sorry, is that? The augers now are craftable, rather than just finding them randomly in cars and things like that. I would have liked to have seen them make more books for the crafting system in Alpha 11. They did do some, but I'd like to see that the books be expanded a lot more than they are now, just because it adds that extra challenge. You know, you're not just hitting the ground running, although the forge one seems to be a lot harder to find than it was in Alpha 10, but I certainly like the fact that they did that. You're not you're not able to just hit the ground running at a vast rate, because until you get that forge, it is quite hard. You can't make melt strips, you can't do iron ingots. You're very limited in what you can do. We were fortunate that within I think day 2, one of us had found the forge book, so we were actually up on forges. And then day 4 and 5, I think myself and Preacher managed to find our forge books as well. Any good loot? Oh, yep, more books and brass. Feathers is a lot harder to find as well, although not as bad as it was on my nav map that I have running. On random generation, because of the way that the generation works, it just seems to be that there are a lot of nests, so it's not as bad. You don't get as many as you did in Alpha 10, but it's certainly doable. Just head back to the base. So it certainly is doable, and of course you don't get the crossbow straight off the bat now. Your first actual weapon or archery type weapon is the actual bow. Now I am told maybe that in Alpha 12 they're going to start expanding the different types of archery weapons, so you'll have the bow, maybe the long bow, and of course you've got the crossbow. But it's not, the bow is not as powerful as the crossbow, but the problem you have with the crossbow is there is no target reticle on it now, unless you're in crouch mode, and of course you can use the detection eye in the center to actually aim your shots. So there we go, folks. So there's phase 1 and phase 2 all completed. You can see phase 3 where we are starting. I will do some more videos, go through more of the crafting stuff in more detail. I just wanted to give you just a quick overview and quick look at where we're up to with Alpha 1, phase 1 and phase 2. Of course we've got phase 3. We're going to be starting phase 4, or doing the layout for phase 4 over the next few in-game days. Now we've got the layout of phase 3, we can actually start on building the wall a lot more easier now we've got a layout. As always, enjoy some days tonight, and hope to see you soon. Bye bye.